We hit the record button and... Josh, you distracted me with your grunt at the end there. I was about to start fade, and then you just hit us with a I had to look away and laugh so I didn't ruin the beautiful music.
All done.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Halloween Eve edition of the Hidden Oaks Overdose of Football Fix podcast. Spooky indeed. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined by our other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, you know what to do.
Hi, folks.
All right. We have an email address if you'd ever like to reach out to the show, hiddenoaksoverdose@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/hoodpod, or our voicemail box is 763-220-0402. We have the segment start times down in the description below, just in case you don't want to listen to the whole thing or you only are interested in little bits and pieces at a time. Totally understandable. The segment start times are down there for you. Skip around as you please. And thank you to Mr. Levi Oki for the beautiful illustration everyone can currently see. Levi Oki illustration, all one word, is his Instagram handle. Hit him up if you need something beautiful.
How many people do you think have actually hit him up?
Oh, I'm going to go with a full zero. A full zero.
So a full zero, as in like bolded, and then you like copy it, put it in Paint, and then
This is like 72-point font. This is a full zero.
Yeah, but then you put it in Paint, and then you use the fill option, and then you put the same color in the
so
center.
It's like a black hole,
Yep.
a black oval. Yeah,
Okay,
I'd say it's
perfect.
that much of a whole zero.
Great. And that's about how much appreciation I have for this podcast, too.
Ouch. That stings.
Yep.
How you doing, Josh?
Great. How are you, Gar?
I'm doing wonderful. How's your mac and cheese? You're just devouring straight from the pan.
So good.
What, any special kind of cheese? I know you said you buy the off-brand noodles. So
No, they're Kraft.
Well, okay, excuse me.
I don't go out there and buy good choice noodles. I'm not poor. I have a 402k.
A 402k?
I don't know.
I mean, that sounds better than what I have. I got a 401k cooking right now. It's not getting any income, but it's there.
It's there.
It's existing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing anything for Halloween tomorrow night, Josh?
I'll probably be at Ben's house watching the football game.
Ooh, Ben's having a party?
It's his last day of being single before his wedding on Friday.
Oh, his wedding's on Friday. Ooh.
So, yeah, we're going to take his virginity. I mean, we're going to get together, hang out. He's not doing a groom's dinner, just to save money, and I don't blame him for that. And so we're going to be just going over to his house, hanging out, having some food, chilling in the hot tub, that sort of thing.
Sounds like a lovely Thursday evening, Josh.
Yeah, clothes optional.
Well, I was going to say almost clothes not allowed, but at least they're optional. It's kind of cold outside. I guess if someone wants to be a sissy, they can cover up, but...
Shrinkage is real.
Shrinkage is real. All right, Josh. You want to roll right into the hot takes?
Yeah, mine as well.
I noticed you are not participating in the hot takes this week.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
I don't have a hot take for this section. We'll just leave it at that.
Alrighty. My hot take for the week is that Joe Flacco doesn't play another game for Denver. He got traded there. He was still on his Baltimore deal. He kind of came out against the coaches. Not a very popular thing to do in John Elway's regime. If they could cut him at the end of the year with no dead cap. So I'm thinking Joe Flacco goes elsewhere. We'll see.
Probably. Fan Tasty Zone, brought to you by the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese I have already eaten.
And also brought to you by the Strawberry Arnold Palmer that I can't open just this second because I was writing something down. But
Writing segment start time.
that's what we do around here, Josh.
Key injuries.
What do you got for key injuries, Josh?
Well, D.D. Westbrook, he's one. Unsure if he's going to play. Joe Flacco's another. His career might be done, they're saying.
Joe Flacco's career?
Well, they said season, potentially career.
No.
So we're going to go for it since we like to report extremely.
Oh, I have to.
We have to, yeah. So his neck fell off. James Conner, AC joint sprain. He's limited. Potential for him to miss some time or be limited in the games as well. Chase Edmonds is going to be missing some time. That's hence the reason for the Kenyon Drake trade, we're thinking. Brandon Cooks, his head is all scrambled. And Andy Dalton's pride.
Yeah, that was a late minute addition. I felt like I had to put it in there.
Now let's just, yeah, because I'd seen that too, and he had mentioned a part of getting a trade if he would have found out earlier. The instant thought that came to mind is Chicago.
I heard that on K-Fan on the way here. Someone said Andy Dalton would be the starting quarterback for the Bears next year.
Well, I could be the starting quarterback for the Bears next year with how Mitch Trubisky's playing.
That's probably true. Who else would be a good fit for the Bears? Just a quick digression.
Ryan Tannehill maybe?
Ooh, you don't think he'll hold on to that Tennessee job?
Well, or Marcus Mariota, I guess. I forgot. And one of those two.
Sure.
Nick Foles. Once he comes back, because I don't think they're going to get rid of Gardner Minshew. If he can
they're not going to get rid of the stash, bro.
If he can do what Nick Foles is doing essentially on a rookie contract, they'll get rid of Foles.
Sure.
I don't know. Honestly, go through all the other 31 teams and you could find a better quarterback on that roster, even if it's not a quarterback.
Yeah, Julian Edelman might sign up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my time. All right, well, those were the key injuries. I don't know. I can't think of. I'm sure we would have wrote down anything else major. Aqib Talib got traded to the Dolphins on the trade deadline yesterday. That was
the biggest deal of the century.
I mean, it essentially just like ends his career. You got to think. I mean, not ends his career, but like.
I wonder what he's doing. He's sitting there. He's just like, oh, I'm in a decent position here. Got a good team around me. Hey, you've been traded to the Dolphins. All right, where's my gun? Gonna go get arrested.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, trade deadline was very anticlimactic this year, which is fine by me, I guess.
I mean, I think there's a lot of speculation coming out. Like we all saw it that Le'Veon Bell might get traded, didn't happen. They were talking about Trent Williams getting shopped, that didn't happen. Apparently, he reported though to the Redskins. So
yeah, and then he failed his physical.
Well, big boy's been out. He's been out of the game just a tad. Probably had one too many Twinkies, watching the games.
Well, it's because his helmet hurt or something. I don't know.
His helmet hurt?
I saw the headline as I was out, like, getting ready to come home from work, and I was like, that's odd. But yeah. Did we have any... I see unknown next to the voicemail.
Right. We did get one. It came from, like, a blocked number.
Is it a cryptic message?
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't get a chance to listen to it because it came in right as I was driving over. So we did not get any emails this week. Did not get, as far as this second is concerned, we did not get any interaction on the Facebook post, which is totally acceptable.
Is it your mom? You stopped answering your phone, so she started to call the podcast to get a hold of you?
My mom doesn't know that the podcast exists, and I'd like to keep it that way. So
I know what I'm getting her for Christmas.
Just a link. Just send her a piece of paper.
No, I'm going to do what Walters did, and I'm going to get a USB drive.
That'd be a lovely little secret Santa. All right, so we did get a Google Voice. I hopefully have the volume up well enough, but hold on, I got to play the sounder.
You've got voicemail.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, hi. This is Trevor Leahy, long-time listener, first-time caller. I just had a couple quick questions for you guys since you set up this voicemail box. Question number one. With the new NCAA rule change where players can now get paid for their likeness, how do you think that will affect the NFL? Do you think players are likely to stay in college longer since they can start making money there instead of trying to get drafted as soon as possible for that payday? I'm curious on Garlic and Josh's thoughts. Second question for you guys.
You only get one question,
sir. As a fantasy player, I should try and stash now if I think I'm going to be in the playoffs. So someone I should have on my team to try and win some playoff games that might not be owned in all the leagues. I'm curious to see what Josh and Garlic have to say about that as well. Appreciate you guys. All right, bye-bye.
That was Trevor Leahy, apparently. So, long-time listener. Have you ever met Trevor Leahy? I don't know who that is.
I'd rather not meet that person.
He had a beautiful voice, though. You got to give him Gotta give him props on the voice.
Absolutely. I remember my first cold.
So do you remember what the questions? I just jotted down little bullets. Do you remember what Trevor asked?
The first one, I honestly don't care. Actually, I don't remember any of them.
The first one was about the NCAA. And they can be paid for the likeness now.
Yeah, I know why I forgot that question because I don't think it'll matter because the NFL you're going to get a much higher payday involved, and then it's also I can't think of a single person that says I can't wait to get to the NCAA for my likeness money. They want to go to the show. They want to be there extra year in college. Extra chance for injury. If they have high draft stock, they're going to, I think that they're going to take that advantage. I mean, it's not like the NBA where they have to be there for a year, but most players already stay for 3 years anyways.
So no effect, you're saying?
I don't think it'll have any effect on it, no.
All right. Yeah, I guess I obviously never played a sport, let alone a college sport. I assume my initial thought was that maybe people would stay and finish out their degrees because we are seeing that a lot of more football players are having shorter NFL careers, not because they aren't playing well enough, but just because they're retiring early. Andrew Luck, perfect example of a man who had his whole future in front of him in football. He's like, nope, I'm actually done. And Andrew Luck's a very smart gentleman.
Well, a lot of players will go in the off season and they'll get their degree. They'll do after they retire. So there's still that option. But I mean, if you think about just like positions like running back and maybe not lineman as much, but running back's a big one that comes to mind at the short shelf life for running backs. If they get an extra season or two in college, they're getting 300 touches, 200 touches that they could have saved for the NFL. A little bit more tread on the tires if they were to go at the regular time instead of staying around for NCAA likeness.
Sure. Yeah. I was just curious what you thought about that. And then, so the next question that Trevor asked was about fantasy playoff stash. So let's say you're a guy who thinks he's going to make the playoffs in fantasy league. Who do you stash to try and have good matchups come week 14, 15, maybe 16, depending on your league?
Honestly, I haven't thought too much about it. They mentioned not owned in a lot of leagues, and since we have a 14-person league, we have a lot of people who are already owned.
Well, it's only 4 more players than we had in our 12-man league.
I guess I can't really think of it. Some guys that come to mind, like Kareem Hunt. He's probably not owned in a lot of leagues because of the 8-game suspension. He might be a good pickup. A lot of those, we're seeing a lot of the wear and tear injuries come in. So running backs, stashing the handcuffs for some of those guys that you may not think go down. So I already forgot the guy's name, and Tony Pollard, so getting those guys just to have that extra opportunity come playoff time.
Sure. So just pick up the extra handcuffs that might be laying around, like an Alex Madison, Tony Pollard, whoever the hell backs up CMC. I don't even know their name, but
I think it's CMC.
CMC backs up himself?
Yeah.
You know, that's probably true.
Yeah,
he's enough talent for 2 people. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair thing to say. I haven't thought too much about it myself either. I know the Jets have a pretty favorable schedule going into it. Then I think the Giants have 2 good games, like week 15 and 16. So I mean, if you really want to gamble on having Jets and Giants just rotting away on your bench, go for it. But yeah, I guess I haven't put too much thought into it either. But that was Trevor Leahy. Any other thoughts on Trevor, Josh, before we move on?
No, hope you got your grade 10.
I don't think he got his grade 6, Josh.
All right.
We'll move on to the week 8 homer results. Writing things down. Okay. How'd the Pack do this week, Josh?
They won. How'd the Vikes do?
They won.
All right. Week 8 watchable moments. No, Packers 31-24 scores. It's a 7-point game. You'd think it would be a little bit more lopsided with Mahomes being out. But as I said last week, that team is not just Mahomes. I mean, that team, their offense has a lot of weapons, and Andy Reid is the quarterback / barbecue whisperer. So he has a lot of, they showed the stat that he has a ton of wins with backup quarterbacks already. But Green Bay's offense, they were pretty good. Rodgers continues to improve as him and LaFleur get more in sync. We've talked about him not being his 2010, 2011, 2012 prime. And that's still the case, but by God, that touchdown pass to Williams as he was getting taken down and Williams in the back of the end zone, I was talking to my dad about it last night, and he and I both agreed that pass is not one that totes Rodgers' just skill, because he had to have had his eyes closed and everything.
Dog was barking.
Microwave was left on.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and you left metal in there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the clothes had been sitting in the dryer for about 45 minutes, so they're all fucking wrinkly at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great throw. Not many quarterbacks could make that throw, but it was still a lucky pass to begin with. I'm not that naive. I mean, some people that I've heard and read on Reddit, granted, take that with as much salt as you like, Brad. That more exposed the Green Bay's defense, and now Green Bay is going to start losing games because of it. Just another, I think that's poo diddly. Reed, we already talked about Reed and his backup quarterbacks. Kansas City has some very, very fast people. And then the home field advantage always plays a role, even if it is, a Mahomes-less home field advantage. Aaron Jones is good. I mean, I think my favorite gift that came from that game was his dad in the stands doing the whole jersey lift with the smug face. And then this is where I'm going to plug my polled prediction, my Packers bold prediction. We've got Adams as the clear-cut wide receiver 1. MVS is the wide receiver 2 for now. Wide receiver 3, Lazard and Camaro.
Together, they're one person at wide receiver 3?
That's going to be the battle. And the reason I said MVS for now is because I could see one of those two taking his spot at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so far Lazard has outplayed Kumaro. I think he's just had more opportunities.
Yep.
But, I think he would win that battle. If MVS went down, it would definitely go Adams, Lazard, Kumaro.
Yep. I feel like I feel like Allison is on his way out.
Really?
And so going on to that bold prediction, I think Allison is not going to be on the roster next season.
Really? Just gets cut?
Yep.
Sick. We kind of both write down notes for each game. I don't have any much in addition to say than what Josh said. I just said it was a good football game. It was a Sunday night, so prime time. Andy Reid is no slouch. He was the offensive guru before it was cool to be an offensive guru, almost like Sean McVay stands on the shoulders of Andy Reid, certainly. So that's the guy that's been doing it.
Sean McVay could stand all over Andy Reid. He's a mountain. He's a mountain of a man.
There's some surface area there, certainly. But yeah, so Andy Reid knows what he's doing. Matt Moore, they're going to be just fine. If anything, the Vikings have a worse shot because Matt Moore gets just one more week comfortability in the system and the scheme. So who knows what'll happen? But Rodgers and company look good. I mean, there's nothing too flashy that game from either side except for, of course, that one touchdown to Jamal in the back of the corner of the end zone. Watching the game, I'm sure everyone else had the same thought I did. It's like, oh, Rodgers just throwing it away, and then all of a sudden, back corner of the end zone, you see Jamal, and then you see the ref put his fucking arms up. I'm like,
what?
To quote Josh, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That was a direct quote. I guess another thing is that screen pass to Aaron Jones. I think it was the one that put him up 7 to give him the win eventually. 67-yard screen pass. He was flying. And then they showed a picture, and he was looking back at the defender, and you could just read it in his eyes. I want to wave at this guy, but I was told I'd get fined.
Yeah, the coaches put the kibosh on that, certainly.
But yeah, so it was a good game to watch. A little bit stressful at times, but YOLO. How'd the Vikings do on Thursday?
Yeah, I would say the Vikings played almost a century ago in the football world at this point. They played last Thursday, beat Washington 19-9. Game wasn't sexy, wasn't very exciting, not even pretty. Maybe we almost played down to the competition a little bit. The Washington Redskins came in 1-6, left 1-7, but the game was never out of control for us. It was never out of hand, no matter how unsexy it was. In the first half, I think the first half ended 7-9, 9-7. It was a very close score, low score at the beginning of the half, and then we had pretty much even time of possession in the first half. And then Minnesota ran away, literally, with time of possession in the second half. We held the ball for 22 minutes to Washington's 8 overall, having time of possession, or having 13 more minutes time of possession than them. So I think that's exactly what what Zimmer wanted to do. He doesn't care about sexiness. He doesn't care about stats. We didn't get to, Kirk didn't have his revenge game of throwing all over the Redskins and exposing them. It was a game where we pounded the rock when we needed to and got a win. And that's about the end of it.
Yep. No, I mean, I wrote the same. Vikings got a win as expected. If they would have lost, it would have been a shock. It wasn't sexy or a statement win by any means. And by that, I mean, AP, he fumbled, I believe. I have a 50-50 shot because it's AP, but
I have no idea if AD fumbled. I know Diggs fumbled.
But it wasn't like a statement revenge game, Keenum or Cousins. So it was just more of a typical Thursday night, I'd rather be doing dishes type game.
Yeah, and I was doing something else at the time, so I didn't get to watch it. I actually rewatched it the next day, just so I could, quote unquote, be informed for this podcast. But I was not sad I missed it on Thursday night.
Do you want to? I'm going to add a mini segment to this Week 8 Homer results.
Sure.
On the way home from work today, I don't know if you were listening to the program about 4 o'clock, 4:15.
No, I wouldn't have been in the car yet. I got in the car at like 4:30.
They were talking about, they had Dave Sinekin on, who's the Green Bay Packers guy, and it was Paul Church.
Yep, Paul Church is in for Barrera today.
Yep, and I'm just going to go ahead and let Walters get his laughter out now because he knows how much I hate that man and think that his takes are absurd. This guy opened up a segment asking Dave Sinekin how he felt about the Packers being favored by the refs, as they clearly were. I was like, you're supposed to be a professional sports analyst and you're over here saying that the Green Bay Packers get favored by the refs? I understand that the Lions game was bad, but he was talking about the schedule, Mahomes' injury, and Dave Sinekin is just like, well, we don't control the schedule or the injuries, and it's not our fault that Los Angeles Chargers are injured all over the place too. What do you want us to do? So I just wanted to take that little moment to rant and say, Paul Charchian, retire and drink paint.
Josh, clearly Charch got on your skin just a bit. The only thing I'll say is I don't know if he's necessarily paid to be a professional sports analyst. He's a stand-up comedian and
he's not a stand-up comedian.
Oh, I'm thinking of hockey. He does video games weekly though. I'm thinking of Chris Hockey.
Chris Hockey's a musician.
He also does comedy.
Meat Sauce is a comedian.
Meat Sauce is a comedian, Josh. Not even Meat Sauce would call himself a comedian.
He does stand-up.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
What?
Tell me one of Meat Sauce's jokes right now.
I can't. It's too dirty. See, you're laughing.
Too dirty. We're an explicit
All right.
show.
Week 8 watchable moments. So I'm going to go ahead and read my first note on here because it's going to sum up all the games put into one. I slept all Sunday. I watched Cleveland give the ball away 3 times on 3 plays, and I fell asleep. Don't remember much before or after that. Your turn.
Why were you sleeping so much on Sunday?
I was sick on Sunday.
Oh, Josh, what happened? What the Walters wedding got to you or what?
I had to leave Walter's wedding early from it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Must have been the Anoka flu that got you. So I mean, the only other notes I wrote down in addition to Josh sleeping was Philly romped Buffalo. I know I personally did not see that coming, and I'll be the first to admit I got egg on my face. I thought for sure Buffalo, not that they're a great home team advantage team, but I thought they'd win that game. They were 6-1 going into it, I think. They got romped by Philly, who was pissed off after losing so many bad games. The Chargers got lucky in Chicago. Last minute field goal missed. No doinks this time, but Chargers got lucky in Chicago. And then Carolina, there was plenty of white outlines on that field because they got murdered in San Francisco, 51-13, which we don't talk about it very often. That score is a scoregami, in case anyone knows what scoregami is, 51-13, but woof. I thought that might be the game where they were like, all right. I mean, even though they're playing the best team, arguably the best team in the NFC, if not the top 2, but Kyle Allen and company got murdered in San Francisco. Holy cow. That's it for week 8. Did you see any highlights or anything?
Nope. I know Pittsburgh almost gave Miami a win, and then Miami realized, holy cow, we got to tank this.
Yeah. Miami went up 14-0, and then there was 27 unanswered points from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Ryan Fitzpatrick's like, let me show people what I can do. And then the coach is like, don't you fucking dare.
You put that beard away, sir.
You put that beard away.
All right. 9. Week 9. What you got, bruh? How's Minnesota gonna do?
Can I ask what that accent was?
That was my Minnesotan accent.
All right. Well, I think Minnesota's going to do a good thing. No, we play.
Minnesota, not Jesse.
Minnesota plays Kansas City in Kansas City. It's a noon game, so we got that going for us. I still got a bad feeling Mahomes is going to play. Not that Mahomes and Matt Moore would be drastically different if Mahomes has none of his mobility. I would assume if he played, he'd be playing with a brace and with limited mobility. Certainly has more arm talent than Matt Moore, but if he's stuck in the pocket the whole game, that'd be easier for our defense to rush and get pressure and whatnot. So it's going to be no easy win here. Andy Reid is going to scheme well, just like he did last week against the Pack. So Zimmer's got his work cut out for him. Certainly, we've seen Zimmer get exposed by Sean McVay and other offensive gurus before, so who knows? We got to get the crowd out of it early. I'm thinking, it's not a secret to Minnesota. Every team starts with this philosophy, but you get that hot start, you go up early, make the other team one-dimensional, get the crowd out of it. If we can go up maybe 14-0 or, at least scoring our opening drive would be crucial, but you want to get the crowd out of it because Arrowhead is a tough place to play. Last little tidbit of optimism I heard also on K-Fan from Mr. Charching himself. He was excited about the fact that all 53 guys in the roster practiced today, which I thought was pretty cool.
He gets excited when they remember to wipe their ass.
Well, still, having a going into week 9, having all 53 guys practicing.
No, that is
cool.
A big thing. Yeah. Can't really say that for the Packers. I have a lot to. I agree with a lot of the things you said, though. Running back, linebacker matchups was something I was going to type in, and then I saw that you did because their linebackers. They made a change, I believe, just before the Denver game, where they put in Ragland, who is a big kind of gap filler linebacker who stops the run, and that's what their goal is. If they're gonna, they got to figure something out on how to have that balance, because if they stop the run, they can't stop the pass. If they stop the pass, they can't stop the run. So it's kind of a big issue on that team.
Aaron Jones was exposing them.
Yep, and I think that trend continues. Cook is going to be huge. This is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. This is my fantasy bold prediction, as well as my bold prediction for the Vikings this week.
A bold prediction.
Yeah, let's not do stupid wordplay.
Just did it a moment ago with bold.
We're past that now. Cook is going to get 200 rush yards and 100 receiving yards.
Whoa. And that's the floor?
That's just what's going to happen.
Okay. That's 300 yards out of Cook is what you're telling me.
Aaron Jones put up 225?
A lot. Yeah, I don't know what the exact number was, but
yeah, and I think that the offense runs through Cook more than it does Aaron Jones, and so I think that he's going to get more opportunities, even though Jones did get quite a few, and so I think that's going to give him that extra boost to get that 300 all-purpose.
Right, I feel that. And just to your last note there, you said, you wrote Mahomes back ? If not, Reid's game plan likely won't change. And I agree with that take 100%. Yeah, Reid doesn't care as quarterback. He's going to try and attack you, get in your face. Early.
They're gonna get the ball to their playmakers, Mecole Hardman, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, who had a very bad game against the Packers. He's going to try and get the ball into their hands, do some crossing routes, let the play develop, and then hope that they can make a move.
Right.
Green Bay at LA. Green Bay is 7-1, going to the Chargers for, I guess, a Chargers home game? ?
Allegedly.
Chargers are 3-5 right now. Stop the run, win by a ton. Let them run, it won't be fun. That was my little rhyming moment.
You nailed it.
But then also there's a quote, because I read your note first. So your note, I'm going to read yours for you.
Okay, thank you.
It pains me to say it, but this should be an easy win for the Pack.
What I said.
And so I had to pull up my Bible and I had to read some scripture to find out just kind of what it reminded me of. And so this is what I got. Do you mind if I ask
what book you were in the Bible?
Yeah, the book of Fubal. It's spelled Fubaawar.
Fubar?
No, the R is silent, Gar.
I'm not very familiar with scripture, excuse me.
Quote, when a man or team has nothing to lose, that's when they are most dangerous. It's not when they are on top with all eyes on them do men become animals not to be reckoned with. It's when they are no more than gutter rats, scavenging for whatever is needed to survive. When a man or team reaches that point, that's when the ones on top need to be wary. And Jesus said that to V. Lombardi.
In the book of Fubao.
Yep. Wow.
Yep.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I mentioned earlier a lot of injuries on the Chargers, but that doesn't, I mean, who cares? Carson Wentz got injured. Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. You know, it's still the NFL. They're there for a reason. That being said, they should win. If they don't win, it's going to be a bad week for Josh.
Bad week for Josh.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lost blood losing to a rough Chargers team. And you read my one note. I mean, you read your quote. I understand it's a quote, so you don't control what exactly it says, but it's not necessarily the Chargers are playing for nothing, because at 3-5, the Chargers are shockingly right in the picture, especially with the Chiefs not having Mahomes in their division and the Raiders lost. The Chargers, if they had a miracle finish, they would be right in the conversation. But the AFC also was bad in general, so they could sneak in a wild card. So it's not that they have nothing to lose, but they're just certainly the much worse team at this point, just riddled with injuries.
Yeah, I definitely didn't write that Bible passage.
I know. I mean, yeah, it came right from the Bible, Josh.
Yeah.
Jesus said it.
To V Lombardi, even though I forgot the D in Lombardi on the notes.
No one would have known that, Josh. I wasn't going to call you out. I make typos and little fucking mistakes all the time. You don't call me out.
Yeah.
So.
Any other Week 9 tingles and jingles, or jingles and tingles?
Ooh, jingles and tingles, Josh, is a really great question. I am really, really glad you asked it. A couple games I'm personally excited for. I like Chicago at Philly, just to kind of see again. I mean, Chicago looks like they're done. I called at the beginning of the year that Chicago was going to be bad. I didn't think they'd look quite this bad. And Philly was looking pretty questionable until they romped a good Buffalo team. So I don't really know what to expect out of this game. It's in Philly, so you'd think they would win, but Detroit went into Philly and upset Philly, so who knows? What do you think is going to happen in that game, Josh?
No, I agree. I think that's going to be a good game. Both teams are kind of looking to find their identity at this point, as kind of the trope in the football world goes. I think that the Eagles are going to have to run the ball more, but Chicago's defense is pretty stout, even if their offense is holding them back. So I just think it's going to be a good overall defensive battle, essentially.
Right, yeah.
Watch that be the high scores game.
Not high score with Trubisky. Maybe the Eagles put up plenty of points, but not with Trubisky out there. The next game I wrote down for that gave me a little tingle in my jingle was Detroit at Oakland. Oakland, I was a fan of coming into the season. Detroit, in our preseason predictions, I had them going 10-6. After watching a couple of their games, the team's really stolen my heart this year. So I wish both these teams could win this week. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. At this point, Oakland has a much better shot of making the playoffs, not because they're better than Detroit, just because the AFC is such shit this year. Or I shouldn't say it's such shit, but there's no runaway dominance that aren't the Patriots. So who knows? I'm excited for that game, Josh. Do you give a shit about Detroit at Oakland?
I mean, we'll get into it later, but not really. Detroit, like you said, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Detroit. I mean, I love Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. Matt Stafford's a stud. I think that he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks of our lifetime, at least.
Certainly.
He's a warrior, as Gerb Schmidt would put it. But yeah, no, that game should be decent. The next one on here, I'll take, because I think it's both of ours. One of ours. New England at Baltimore. I agree with your note on here about it being the toughest regular season game for New England. Apparently, I'm surprised the schedule makers haven't gone back to change it to play Cleveland again. But they'll play Baltimore. It's a night game, so get to watch that. The biggest tingle in my jingle at this point is 8:30 game. Vikings at noon, Vikings and Chiefs, Packers at 3, and then this game at 7. Holy cow.
It's going to be a good Sunday.
Good Sunday.
Football. And the first game is what? Jacksonville and Houston. Okay. And Houston really struggled against Jacksonville last time.
I just threw a team out.
Well, I think that's correct, because because later I picked Deshaun Watson as my dud, and it was like a 13-12 finish last time, and Watson fucked me over in fantasy, as I recall. So.
Yeah, and they asked Gardner Minshew about his attire in London, and he said the jorts are on standby.
Ooh.
So Gardner Minshew guaranteed 5-touchdown game.
I think the CBA's up at the end of this year, or they have to get it done soon. Do you think Gardner Minshew could sneak jorts as part of the field apparel into the CBA? The players can wear jorts on the field?
I don't think he cares. I think he's going to do it anyways.
Find me, I dare you. He'll be like the Michael Jordan of the NFL, just getting fined every week but wearing jorts. Yep. Sponsored by Wrangler, of course.
Duh.
I know you don't normally write down games, Josh, but did you any other games you know of in Week 9 that tingle or jingle?
No, I was going to. I looked at this. I always look at the segment and look at the games that you have on there, and these are the 3 that, other than the Homer games, that stuck out in my mind.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's move on to a little lock and upset, Josh. Oh, God, I got to get ready to play the music. I'm slightly underprepared, but it's good. Luckily, it's an easy button for me to hit.
God, there's so much fun.
What? All right, Josh, locks and upset. So looking at the beautiful leaderboard, Jalen is still up top. T right behind him, 1 point back. Kyle right 2 points behind Jalen. And then it kind of falls off from there, Josh. You and I have fallen off, not dramatically, but we were up there for a while, and we are now down in the middle of the pack. And you know, as the host of the show, you think we know what we're fucking doing, but we certainly don't. Derek, Eric's, and Aaron still at the bottom of the league. Do you think anyone passes Jalen at this point? I know we're literally only halfway done, but do you think anyone can pass Jalen on the leaderboard, or does he just keep picking softballs and winning games?
Well, I was just going to say, if he keeps getting softball picks, then yeah, maybe he's going to run the table out. But T has a decent shot. T's been solid. I think he's gotten his last 8 right. Yeah. And so that'll help him. Kyle, like you said, is right back there too. So I think that there's still plenty of time, especially when we implement the double upsets.
That'll be coming soon.
So that's going to be a nice little incentive and boost for everybody. But yeah, as far as other people, I don't think Aaron or Eric's is going to catch, or Derek.
No, don't think so. I kind of agree. Well, here's a quick discussion question for you, Jess. So we're going to open it up to double upsets. To be fair, do we also open it up to double locks or no? Because really the double upsets incentivizes people at the bottom to pick double upsets to try and get more points. Would it then be just as fair to open up double locks so the people up top can try and sit on it, getting less points? Or
well,
no?
If we're going to go with the Fox segment that they got rid of when they found out that a better show was going to start doing it.
They did. That's what they heard.
I think it's just upsets, because they only did the upsets only. They didn't do the double locks.
Yeah, I don't recall personally.
I mean, that's what my memory chooses to remember. So
Sure.
We'll just do the double upsets and make Jalen sweat it out.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I mean, neither of us got our upset last week. I think you're happy to not get your upset. Even though
I'm
you're
stoked.
Tampa. I don't think anyone else would have watched the Tampa Bay Tennessee game, but I was disappointed that didn't happen. Who do you got this week, Josh?
I've got my lock as Buffalo or Washington.
Softball.
Yep, no, that is definitely a softball. Then my non-softball is Detroit over Oakland.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess I'm not surprised to see a lot of people picking that, but the line of that game changed. I think originally Detroit was favored, and now for some reason Oakland is. Maybe just because it's in Oakland. I don't know. Why do you think the whatever favoredness changed like that?
Honestly, I have no idea. I didn't even know it changed. I just looked and picked it.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you why. So I have this week for my lock, I have San Fran over Arizona. I think that
T-ball.
T-ball. I mean, I was going to say you can accuse people being softballs, but so far here are all the locks we have in: Buffalo, San Fran, Buffalo. And I don't know what Brian is. I know Brian's in there too.
Yeah, no, he's Buffalo.
So, I mean, everyone's going with the softballs for their locks as it happens. For my upset, I just wrote I don't know because I didn't like any of the upsets so far. I think I'm going to wait until deeper into the weekend, see if any of the odds change at all. They probably won't, but so far I don't like any of the upset odds that are out there, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Once again, Erics and Akita seem to be on the same page. They both have San Fran and Arizona for the lock, and their upset is Detroit over Oakland. I think that's like the 3rd time they've done that this year.
And just copied each other? Are you at all worried that Mr. Lafayette might be swooping in on your beautiful marriage? Your holy matrimony?
Maybe.
All right, and then Walters also has Buffalo. And then he has the upset I've definitely been thinking about, which is Tennessee over Carolina. Ryan Tannehill's not very exciting. Kyle Allen, even less exciting. I forget who the home team is. It's probably Carolina, but I don't know. If I were to pick an upset, it might be that one. And then we already mentioned Brian. He's got Buffalo just like everybody else. And then his upset is actually Denver over Cleveland, which I kind of berated Brian last week for his upset. His upset last week was New York Giants over Detroit. Didn't happen, shockingly. And this week, Denver with a quarterback you couldn't even name if you tried. I know I couldn't. Playing Cleveland, who also sucks, but I mean, do you think how possible do you think that upset is Denver over Cleveland?
It's 3.
I would agree with your 3, Josh. That's a good sports analysis type take. Just because I want to play the sounder, I think both Buffalo and San Fran are going to be... God damn it, I do this every week.
You do, you're bad.
I am really bad.
Stone cold lock of the century. All week.
Anything else you want to talk about in locks and upsets, Josh?
Nope.
All right, Josh, you know what you got to do then.
Hang on. I got to get my pipes clear.
Okay.
Week 9 fantasy fun time.
Ooh, that was a quick one this week. That was a little staccato on there as well. I like that. That was nice. Josh, we always start fantasy fun time with our grain of salt, and I feel like I go first quite often.
I got 2 more wins this week than I did last week, so I went 2 and 3.
Josh, I'm not saying I'm good at fantasy this year, but you seem to be trending in the downward direction these last couple weeks. And is it just bye week woes, a lot of injuries? What's going on?
Well, I believe that Devonta Adams got hurt in week 4.
Okay.
And for some reason, week 5 didn't get hit with any bye weeks, and then week 6, 7, and 8 with him out, and bye week woes. Yeah, I've been 3 for 15.
So you went 2 for 3 last week, and then so what's your overall?
20 for 20, just like my vision with contacts. 50%.
Wow. Okay, Josh, you'll still get to the ship. Last week I went 3 and 5, so I am still struggling. I'm 34 and 30.
You're so fucking bad.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm overall 34 and 30. My only saving grace on the year is all my teams have at least 3 wins. I only have 1. My worst league has 3 wins. All my other leagues, I have at least 4 wins. No more than 5, of course, because I keep going even every week. But having a bunch of teams with 4 and 5 wins, respectively, I'm pretty happy about that. You know, my fantasy philosophy isn't you need to be the top seed, although it certainly helps. But as long as I'm in the playoffs, all I have to do is string together a good week or 2, and I'm right in the ship, and I'm in the money. So I'm happy with my teams. Of course, you would love to be 8-0 at this point in all your leagues, but I'm happy with my outlook and my earning potential so far, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Josh, top performers of the week.
As everyone expected, Daniel Jones was the number 1 quarterback this week, 28.2. Deshaun Watson, 28, and Aaron Rodgers, 27. Big week for running backs. Aaron Jones, 41.5. Tevin Coleman, 38. Latavius Murray, 37. Wide receivers, Mike Evans, 43, and 1 big rant. Cooper Kupp, 35, and Kenny Golladay, 28. Tight ends, we had Ryan Griffin, white guy, 24.5. Darren Fells, black guy, 23.8, and Jonnu Smith, black guy, 20.
You have an absolutely breathtaking hiney.
Didn't realize we were calling out the race of the different tight ends these days.
They weren't racing. It's their skin color.
Okay, Josh. Those were the top performers of the week. Did you have any of those guys in your lineup this week? I know you got Cooper Kupp in a league or 2.
Aaron Jones in a couple. Cooper Kupp in a league. The rest I try to stay away from. Deshaun Watson, I guess.
You mean Ryan Griffin is not your every week starter at tight end?
No.
How fucking dare you, Josh? That guy's out there busting his ass week in and week out. Can't even give him the respect he doesn't deserve. My God. All right, Josh. Studs and duds. So last week, thought I'd be cheeky. Olabisi Johnson as my stud. Nope. Dude had 2 catches for 27 yards must be because my math is okay. So he underdid his projection by 4. Christian McCaffrey, this dude's playing the Niners. Even Jamie picked CMC as a dud. He's got to be doing nothing this week. Nope. Outscored his projection by 4. So overall, I was -8 on the week. Sick, dude.
Yeah, I had Chase Edmonds as my stud because I didn't think David Johnson was going to play. He was only projected 7.2. He got 3.3 and then got hurt for -4. But then my dud, Odell, was a dud because the entire Browns team was a dud. He got that got me a net of +4, and so I finished with 0.2.
You're killing it, Josh.
Yeah.
Eric's had Juju as his stud. Was pretty studly. Projected 13. Actually got 21. Overall, +8.4 for Eric's. Jarvis Landry was his dud. Just as you mentioned, the whole Browns team was a dud going against New England. Who would have guessed? Overall, Eric's was +9 on the week.
Doing better than that was my wife, my lovely wife,
Ooh,
Nikita.
lovely.
Deontay Johnson got her a +10, and then her dud Keenal got her -2.5, so she finished with a net of 12.3. It's going in the right direction. Good job, wife.
Speaking of not going in the right direction, Walter's had a rough week.
Good.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks was projected 12. That was Walter's stud. Anyone who knows anything about Brandon Cooks knows he got 0 fantasy points last week. Jordan Howard was his dud, projected 9.9, actually got 18. So overall, Walters was negative 20 on the week. Brutal.
And the rest have not been weekly contributors, so we will skip. I'm just kidding. Brian had John Brown as a stud. Not quite studly, negative 2.5. Leonard Fournette was his dud. Not quite Dudley, negative 0.4. So he finished with negative 2.8.
Yeah, I saw Brian in person on Monday, and he was like, yeah, man, I should have retired after one. I was like, Brian.
That's what we tell him.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's so easy. They get one hot week. After that was Brad, first-time contributor, had Alexander Madison as a stud. Was actually a stud technically to our rules. Projected 5.3, got 8.4. So it's positive 3. And then Brad had Saquon as his dud. Nope. He was projected 20, got 28. Overall, Brad was negative 5.5 on the week.
Jamie had Ty Johnson as her stud, projected 12.6. He got 4.8 for negative 8. And then CMC we went over. So for negative, he got negative 4 net. So her total is negative 12. And that Ty Johnson pick I think was funny because a lot of people were trying to get him on the waiver wires.
Oh, yeah.
I think in the Victoria's Secret Coon Rapids League, that one, I think he got picked up for 35 free agency dollars.
Shit.
And he was the second string that week.
Behind Tra Carson.
Something like that, yeah.
Former Packer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. He was because Ty Johnson ended up being in the backup role that week.
Oh, it was Tra Carson, I think his name is. Like TRA. It's probably Trey, but Tra sounds way cooler to me.
It's like truck, but just half as big.
Right. Finally, we have, I found this out over the weekend as well. AJ was apparently one of the nicknames that Hammer's mom wanted for him, I guess, growing up. So I'm going to call Hammer AJ from now on because I think it's funny. So AJ had Cooper Kupp as the stud, was super studly, projected 15, actually got 35, so that's plus 20 for AJ. And then Melvin Gordon projected him as a dud, just technically not a dud, although it was close either way. Melvin Gordon was projected 13.4, actually got 13.6. So AJ was plus 20 on the week. Easily first place in studs and duds for the week. Coming up on this week, I'm conflicted because I've had 3 bad weeks in a row. I stole this stud pick from Eric because originally I had Noah Fant, and I might switch it back because Noah Fant's only projected 6. So even if he doesn't do anything, that's only negative 6 for me on the week. But Tevin Coleman right now, all the running backs behind Tevin Coleman are banged up on a short week. Tevin Coleman should be this entire offense. He's projected 16.5. It's pretty high, but I think he should be able to outscore that. For this week, I have a dud of Deshaun Watson, the number 1 quarterback in fantasy, at least in our league, projected 21.1. And again, he struggled against Jacksonville, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, whenever they played. So obviously, these are different teams and different times at this point, but I'm just hoping Deshaun Watson does the same thing and struggles. So we'll see.
I have Tyreek Hill as my stud. He's projected 14 going up against Minnesota. They're at home. He did more than that with 1 week of Matt Moore. If Matt Moore is, got another week of practice in him, I think he should be able to beat that, especially if Xavier Rhodes is covering him. That was a shot at Xavier Rhodes, by the way.
I know.
My dud of the week, Jameis Winston. He's projected 19.3. I don't even know who they play. I just don't like the guy.
That's fair. So yeah, we'll see what happens with those two. I agree with Tyreek Hill. The dude's just so elusive. It's hard to tamp him down. Tevin Coleman, as I mentioned earlier, was Eric's stud pick, which I stole, projected 16.5. And then Kenyon Drake is his dud. I've seen a lot of news come out today that Kenyon is going to be on like a limited snap count, which is going to be rough for Arizona on a short week. I saw they signed Alfred Morris. Is Alfred Morris going to be your guy, Arizona? It's going to be a tough week for you. Kenyon Drake currently projected 11.5, so we'll see.
Nikita, my lovely wife, has Cole Beasley as her stud pick, 9.9. And then Adam Thielen, who is another one of mine that I'd considered coming off that injury. He's projected 14.3, and that's her dud.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Who knows? Maybe Thielen's a little more slowed down out of that injury than we thought. Walters has Devin Singletary as a stud. Actually, I like this stud pick. They're playing Washington. Should be a easy game. Who knows how many reps Frank Gore is going to get, though. That'd be my only hesitation. Projected currently 10. Marvin Jones Jr. is Walters' dud. Projected 13.6. Danny Amendola has been very involved in the passing game these past couple weeks. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Marvin Jones doesn't have a 3-touchdown game like he did against Minnesota, but otherwise... Did he have 4?
So.
Oh, well then a 4-touchdown game.
Brian has Cole Beasley as well, projected 9.9, and then Mark Ingram is his dud, and I don't like that pick because I have him in a league. But Mark Ingram is projected 11.6. Makes sense going up against the Patriots defense.
Right, it certainly does. Bill Belichick always wants to take away your favorite weapon. I don't know if Mark Ingram would be their favorite weapon, but maybe. I mean, he's probably the most solid over Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews and whoever else. Good guys, but more unproven talent, I suppose. Currently, as of this moment, we have heard nothing from Brad, who was a one-time participant, and I guess I didn't suspect him to participate again. But Brad, nothing. Jamie, nothing. Hammer, nothing. So we'll see if they get him in before kickoff.
Got any bold predictions?
Josh, I do have a bold prediction for the week. I'm thinking Sam Darnold, after seeing ghosts and then having a rough matchup last week, I'm thinking Sam Darnold and Adam Gase, who's a petty fuck. I think they want to make a statement game against Miami this week. I'm thinking Adam Gase is like, all right, Sam, this is my former team. Everyone's dogging you. Let's show off what we can do. Adam Gase is allegedly supposed to be a good offensive coach. Haven't seen it the last couple of years, but he wasn't bad in Chicago. Anyways, Sam Darnold, top 5 fantasy QB this week is my fantasy bold prediction.
Good for you. Redraft Week 8 results.
Week 8 results.
We have a side bet winner of T with Stay on Target. He was 2 points off of his total projection for the week. Good job, T. Brief walkthrough of all
every
the
man
games.
has his price. And it's also true that money won is a lot sweeter than money earned.
Now he's a philosophizer.
Oh, were you not listening?
Brief walkthrough of all the games.
Josh, you erased my note that was in there. Why'd you erase my note?
Because
your energy and enthusiasm is off the charts. All right, so my matchup's on top of my screen, so I'm just going to do that one first. T creamed me 106 to 78. He had Goff with 23, Tyrell Williams with 18, and then Golden Tate with 16. My team just couldn't put anything together. My top scorer was George Kittle with 14, so that's a woof. Kirk Cousins was my next with 11, and then Chris Godwin with 10. My team just laid an egg this week. It was a poor performance. You want me to go through all of them?
yeah, it's just a brief walkthrough. You don't need to talk about the players. Just say who beat who.
You okay, Josh? You seem a little snippy today.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Jamie beat Garrett in a closer matchup than some people might have thought it was going to be. She beat Garrett 132.4 to 128.7. Christian McCaffrey was her best player with 28 or 27.5. Bradley beat Hammer in a not very exciting matchup of the week, but it was 119.7 to 89.3. Bradley was carried by Michael Thomas, who again is just a fantasy stud this week or this year. And then Leonard Fournette also got him 20. Brian beat Nate 123.8 to 104.6. Deshaun Watson led Brian's crusade along with DeAndre Hopkins, so that Houston Texans matchup was really working for Brian this week. Josh, you lost to Willie 172.9 to 114.3. Aaron Jones, as we mentioned before, top running back of the week. That's who Willie had rocking for him. And then Kenny Galladay also had 28, and Dalvin Cook with 26. So Willie's team continues to appear unstoppable. Jesse beat your wife 129.9 to 120.2. Jesse led by Aaron Rodgers and then Julio Jones. Stephon Diggs with a 20 bomber as well. Nikita had a good week, just not good enough. Latavius Murray led her with, was that 36.7? It's a pretty good week. Lastly, we have Derek playing his girlfriend Robin. He beat his girlfriend 116 to 99.4. Yep, we're calling the cops on that one. But Drew Brees, Derek's newest addition to the team, got him 25. David Montgomery got him 25 almost as well. And then Chris Carson with 15. Robin's team just didn't have enough juice in the tank this week. Josh, any other thoughts on the matchups this week?
Screw you, Willie. No thoughts. How about them standings?
Josh, I'm glad you asked. We did talk about how we were going to talk about the standings this week, so I got to pull up the right sheet, so I got to make sure I'm not just talking out of my arse. Oh my God, where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so currently, technically, Jamie is in first place because she is 7-1. Oh my God, oh, of course. All right, give me just 1 second here. I screwed everything up.
Sure did.
There we go. I fixed it. So Jamie's in first at 7-1. Both Willie and Jesse are in second at 6-2. Willie, of course, with way more points for than anybody else. Josh, you are Josh and Brian are both 5-3. Would you ever thought you'd be tied for Brian in the standings 8 weeks in, Josh, after that draft?
No.
Yeah. There's a bunch of us at 4-4. You got me, you got Bradley, you got Nikita, Garrett, and T, all 4-4. T also a sneaky team that should not be 4-4. Hammer is 2-6, along with Derek and Robin, and then Nate all the way down at the bottom, number 14, with a 1-7 record. So I just foreshadowed Willie, who has 1,200 points for. Next closest person is like 225 away. Is his team immune to having a bad week at this point? Does he just run away with the league?
I mean, unless everybody gets hurt.
Right, because it's not like Willie's being carried with like one or two players like Jamie. Like his entire team is stacked.
Right. Yeah, no, I think I mean, we'll get my final predicted finish. I have that typed up.
I see that.
I have Willie as his top just because he is stacked. Jamie at 2 just because Christian McCaffrey and Holmes, and then just the rest of the rosters. It's not stacked, but it is well-rounded. I like your team. It's rounded overall. I put me in 4th because it's me. Jesse's sneaky good. Brian has top-notch wide receivers. He's in 6 in mine. And then Brad and Nikita are rounding out the bottom of the playoff push. Brad's was a pity pick, and then Nikita's my wife. But then Garrett and Hammer are both bad. I have them missing the playoffs. Robin, her team is all hurt. T is laughable, and then Derek is just unlucky, and Nate is not making enough transactions. Usually he's already in the triple digits at this point.
Yeah. So... Yeah, that's crazy. And your predictions match up with the points for. Shockingly enough, we can't talk about Willie enough and his points for 1,200 points. Jamie's the next closest, I think. She is. I just sorted it that way. I'm stupid. She has 990. Jesse's in 3rd with 966. I'm in 4th with 961. All the way at the bottom is Robin with only 800. So a 400 point spread between first and last place. That's a lot of fucking points. Looking at points against, Derek has the most points against. That's why he's having an unlucky year, but his points for is way down there as well. He has 1,000 points against. Willie, next most points against, so that's how you know Willie's the real deal. He's 6-2 with the second most points against. Least points against is T, so that's kind of why we see him sneaking up there. He's 4-4 because he's had the easiest schedule so far. Bradley with the second fewest points against, and then Jamie with the third fewest points against. Not that her team needs it necessarily, but maybe she'd have 1 or 2 more losses if those matchups were closer.
Yeah.
We don't really care about the home or away records. Looking at the streaks here, so Willie has won 5 games in a row. Very impressive team though, so it's not shocking. Jesse's won 3 in a row. Brian and Bradley have both won 2 in a row. Nate has lost his last 6. That is a woof from Nate. Robin has lost her last 3. Garrett and Josh have lost their last 2. So, I mean, no one's too streaky in this league other than Willie in the positive and Nate in the negative. As far as transactions, most transactions, Brian's been trying to save his team. He's moving up with 19. Josh, you're second with 18. Is it just because all these injuries, or what's making you got so many moves? Are you streaming a lot this year?
Streaming a lot of kickers and defenses.
That's a lot of kickers. How many kickers have you? Are you trying to get the top kicker every
42.
week? Okay, Josh.
No, I usually pick up a kicker, and then the next week is a bye week, I found out. So.
Okay. And then T has the least moves. There's only 4 moves. We've been dogging T's team all year. Probably should have more moves than 4. He is 4-4. Again, though, he had like the second or the most points against, or the fewest points against, so maybe that's why. But yeah, where's fucking Nate on this list? Nate is at
9.
He's at 9, huh? Nate, got to get that count up, dog. But yeah, so those are just kind of a brief standings, whatever you want to call it, snapshot. 8 weeks in, Josh already kind of went through his projected finish, and so I just want to put that in a slightly different perspective, just with what the projected playoff bracket is, not according to Josh, but according to ESPN. Right now, it would be Nikita playing Jamie, Brian playing Josh, I'd be playing Jesse, and then Bradley would be playing Willie. So long to Bradley in that one. But, single elimination, no buys this year because I got 8 playoff teams. So it's you got 1 chance. Do you think you'd beat Brian if the playoffs were today or this week?
Absolutely.
Suck it, Brian. I don't know if I could beat Jesse or not. So who knows?
You couldn't.
I couldn't?
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers is too good?
Duh.
Yeah, so those are just the standings. Like I said, a snapshot 8 weeks in. We will not talk about the standings next week, but we'll talk about it in the week after that as we get closer to the playoffs.
Week 9 preview.
Week 9 preview. All right, Josh.
Side bet this week is dead weight, winning team with the lowest scoring starting player. In the case of a tie, second lowest scoring tying player will be the tiebreaker, as decided now by me. First matchup on my list is Gar 4-4 at Nikita 4-4. Nikita's team is banged up or on bye. She's been telling me about it all week, although I still have confidence that she's going to pull out the victory.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I think she got Jalen Samuels. I think that he has a good shot of lighting it up because he's going to be their only running back that's healthy at this point. And even if Connor plays, I think he's going to be limited. I mean, I still like her team overall, so I think that she has a good shot of beating you. No knock on your team. It could go either way. But.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the game is closer than what's currently projected. I'm currently projected to win 122 to Nikita's 96. And those are both with full rosters. I've been tinkering lately, and I can't tell if it's been helping me or hurting me in all my leagues. I'm not really keeping track of what the exact moves are, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it will be a close game. I'm gonna, since we go through and pick every week, I'm gonna pick myself just because I want to have a little bit of confidence and try and make it to the playoffs. But that's the matchup.
I guess I'll go.
So you're gonna pick Nikita?
Yeah, I already wrote it down.
Well, I know you wrote it down, but you didn't I don't think you affirmerized it.
I firmerized it. Go.
The next matchup is Jamie and AJ. You should do it.
Jamie at AJ. Newlywed Showdown. The 7-1 Jamesters against the 2-6 Asters. AJ needs better running backs. Jamie still has Mahomes, questionable. But no crazy poor matchups. Think it'll be close. I have AJ taking this one.
Think AJ is going to beat his wife, huh?
Every day.
A lot of that going on in this league. So right now, Jamie's projected to win 118 to 102. I was looking at. I like to pick the teams live. None of these matchups are crazy. Matt Stafford at Oakland could be the deciding factor if Matt Stafford could do anything like Aaron Rodgers did against that Oakland team. Holy cow! Christian McCaffrey is questionable. Like I said, I know that, but I think I'll take Jamie with this one just because I'm going to ride with her team, even being Mahomes-less. No, it's not a very sexy pick, but I think Matthew Stafford is going to be the X factor in this matchup.
Nate sitting at 1-7 at Garrett 4-4. I mean Garrett is playing against Nate, who's all but cashed in, and so I took Garrett.
Yeah, I mean Nate's team is looking rough. He currently needs 2 starters. I'm sure he'll fix his lineup by game start. Currently, Garrett's projected to win 112 to 83. Nate puts in 2 more guys. It's maybe 112 to 95. I don't know. You can't find studs to plug in at this point, but. Yeah, I get dog Garrett every week. He's currently in 9th, but I think he goes to 5-4 this week. I'll take Garrett along with you. His team's just good enough to beat the current worst team in the league. So, Terry McLaurin is really in the flex as a sexy flex. So I like that one.
Yeah, Willie beats Brad this week, moving to 7-2.
Yeah.
The next game is. Is that okay?
No, that's fair. Yeah,
okay,
Brad, you're getting destroyed this week. Sorry.
So the next game is Jesse 6-2 at Brian 5-3. Brian's coming in hot. He has 8 out of 9 player advantage over Jesse, and Jesse needs some studs. And with Rodgers, which Rodgers will he get?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I typoed too badly there, but.
Yeah, it took me a second. But yeah, so I agree. I think he's coming in hot. He has the wide receiver advantage. Surprisingly,
and the number 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
And surprisingly, the running back advantage. And so I took Brian.
Yeah, I mean, with the notes I left that you read, I think I have to lean Brian as well. Jesse's team is still sneaky good, and he has the better record than Brian, but Brian's just putting together at the right moment. Number 1 quarterback, 3, probably easily the best receiver trio in the league. With T.Y., DeAndre, and he has another good one. He must be on a bye this week, but John Brown is currently his 3rd wide receiver. I dropped him earlier in the league, but I have to take Brian in this one. Sorry, Jess, but Brian's team is just too hot at the moment. He's getting hot at the right time, and he's going to put it together. All right, Josh.
Robin 2-6, going up against moi, 5-3. Definitely agree with your note. All hedges on Didi and Adams. If they underperform, then I'm screwed. But I don't think they will. I think that if Adams plays, he comes out, he's going to come back, pick up right where he left off. 18 catches, 180 yards, 5 touchdowns. Book it.
Book it? Book it, Dano. You want that to be your fantasy bold prediction of the week?
No, I already did my fantasy bold prediction of the week. No, I mean, it does hedge on those two guys. Mark Andrews going up against New England probably isn't going to be pretty, but hopefully he can get in the end zone at least once.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And then, so who are you going to play at defense this week, Josh? Or are you just going to go defenseless?
I'm going to wait until Sunday at 11:55.
Well, what about the 8:30 game? What if you want the Jacksonville or Houston defense? One of them's going to be available.
I got to change it. I don't know who I'm going to go on defense yet. I'll figure it out.
Do you have a defense on the bench or no?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Robin's team is just not good this year. Her team looks sexy, but we talked about in the beginning, those injuries are killing her, so I have to go Josh this one as well. Not very exciting pick segment this week, but, the way she fucking goes, boys. All right.
T is 4-4 at Derek's 2-6. Both teams garbage. Need some plug and play free agents, big player weeks. Derek has a better matchups this week, as you said. I'm going to go with T though, just because the record, and I think T gets lucky and somehow gets a ton of points from Eckler or Gordon.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. So right now, Derek has Drew Brees and Greg Zuerlein both on a bye in his lineup. T only has Jared Goff in his lineup. So Derek is missing more players, and he's already projected to beat T. But it's hard for me to project without them putting their other guys in there. I don't fucking know, dude. I think I'll give this one to Derek. I'd love to think T gets lucky, but I don't know. I don't think Derek's going to make the playoffs, but I do think he's still trying. Derek's not one to just kind of give up on the fantasy year. And so when he made that trade with Brad, it showed me there's still life in Derek's tank. Maybe not a playoff team, but maybe good enough to win the consolation bracket. There's money in that, so no one should be giving up on this league just yet. Maybe extra ping pong balls if we actually do that next year, which we should. Nah, Josh, how dare you?
Nah, because that's done already. We got to do something new and creative, like envelopes.
Like envelopes? What do you mean, like envelopes?
Get a giant container with envelopes with names in them.
That would be pretty original. I don't think anyone's ever done anything like that before.
NBA's never heard of it.
No, that's idiots. They don't know what envelopes are over there. All right, Josh, we have reached the outro segment of our show.
Under an hour?
Not quite. We're at 106 currently. Those contracts.
Rewind. Got to restart.
You want to redo the whole thing over and just
Whole
talk
thing.
faster?
Keep it under an hour.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Have any final words, Josh? Again, you already talked about your, non-existent Halloween plans, but anything else exciting in your life? Any
How
final
about
words?
you? Are you going to get on COD after this? And
I mean, probably. Do you want me to get on COD?
Yeah,
Because
I'll
it is
play.
your Friday.
It's it's my Friday.
So you're going to stay up until at least, 10:15 then?
10:30.
Holy Josh.
Till the cows come home.
That's see how dark it is outside? The cows better be fucking home by now, dude. It was dark at when I got here, almost at 6.
No, these cows in Big Lake, they're a feisty.
Got some party cows going? Do they happen to drink spotted cow?
No, this is Minnesota, not Wisconsin. All right, I got to go do some stuff in the garage before I have another beer. You have a great evening. I will see you when you're done doing the things that I don't know how to do with producing.
Well, Josh, thank you for having me per usual. Have fun in your garage. I will just say thank you for listening.
Thanks, Nikita. Love you. Bye.
Nikita, Ryan Walters, Eric Landvik, although I think he's dead, Jamie, Levy, Zach, Brian, AJ, Brad, Jesse, Jordan. Thank you all so much for listening. We enjoy what we do. It is just a hobby for us, but it's still fun to do every week. Don't forget, you can engage the show hiddenokesoverdose@gmail.com, facebook.com/hoodpod, or 763-220-0402. We love you all so much. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you next week. Oh my God, why is the music not playing? Okay, so just a slight technical difficulty while I try and figure out why my music is not playing. Okay, well, that's sick, dude. I'll just open it up the old-fashioned way while I vamp here. I wonder what anyone else is doing for Halloween. I'll be doing literally nothing, maybe handing out candy. But, yeah. All right, I got the song up now. I'm just going to take a second to load. Again, I love you all, and talk to you next week.
Well, Lottie frickin'